That's pretty crazy.
All right.
Hey, what was the thing you talked about with Blanganga?
I haven't made the Blanganga video yet. I was gonna record it and then things occur as they tend to. I'll probably record it after stream. What?
Okay.
That new dinosaur just dropped. I might ask you to look that up like the fucking Joe Rogan guy. What do I say to that? Are you... Oh, shoot! We got people! Hello.
people.
Yeah, there's a new dinosaur that just got named. Azalea, look up new dinosaur from China. It's a Metricanthosaurid. I forget the exact name of it. It's something raptor. But it's a Metricanthosaurid from... Oh, thank you, Andrew Lee, for the rose. It's a Metricanthosaurid from China. So it's not a sauropod.
It's not that.
No, look up specifically Metricanthosaurid.
No, yeah.
But it's a Metricanthosaurid from China, which is a kind of carnivorous dinosaur that's pretty closely related to allosaurs, actually. This is a cooking screen, by the way, because I just finished up with my daily obligations, and I haven't made dinner yet. So we're gonna cook on stream.
We're cooking. Is it this?
Yeah, from Yunnan. Yuanmu raptor. That's what it is. So it's a Metricanthosaurid from China. It has a preserved maxilla, I believe, and some other skull bones. It's not particularly complete, but we have it's going quite good. I'm not mad. I'm just perturbed. It's a maxilla and some other skull bones. The skull itself is pretty solid. It's well preserved, as things from China tend to be, because they just make the bones better when they're in China. I don't know what's up with that, but it seems to be the case pretty reliably. Let's see if that's heated up yet. But yes, there's a new theropod from Yunnan. That's a big thing. Additionally, today there was a series of trackways described on the Isle of Wight. It was over 100 dinosaur tracks. Some from, I believe, megalosaurids and some from sauropods or sauropodomorphs.
Something to... Did you bring like a utensil? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, of course. Some from megalosaurids, some from sauropodomorphs, or just general sauropods. I mean, they are sauropodomorphs if they're sauropods, but you know how it is.
I should open up TikTok so I can look at chat.
Yes, you should. There's like no one in chat right now. But yeah, so that's the big dinosaur news. Mainly, there is some other cool stuff though. Trying to think of what there was. There was some other cool dinosaur news today. I saw a picture of a new Centrosaurine frill, which was pretty exciting. Or not Centrosaurine, it was Chasmosaurine, so that's cool. More ceratopsian material, I'm always happy about that. The trailer for Primitive War came out today, and I watched that on my lunch break at work. And I didn't show it to any of my coworkers because they're all bird people and they'll think I'm a dork. For liking dead things instead of more recently dead things. I thought the trailer looked quite interesting. I was disappointed. I think the designs are a little bit worse than they were in the novel.
Did you see in the new FromSoft game?
I saw,
you can turn into a really fucked up looking dinosaur.
I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that discussion. But yeah, so the new... Welcome. Hello. I'm doing quite well, Fossils and Dust. Hello, the Exile. I sent you your inked commission. I don't know if you responded to that, but I will get to coloring it when it's good, or when you give me the go-ahead. And I will do the squid tentacle before I color it in ink. I just didn't get around to that, and I wanted to send it to you before I streamed. Yeah, check your Discord. Favorite dinosaur? My favorite dinosaur is Acrocanthosaurus attokensis. She's right behind me. However, you might notice right here, there's actually a little bit of inaccuracy going. So right here, there's this a new muscle that was discovered after I did this drawing. I'm so tired right now. After I did this drawing, they discovered a new muscle that inserts like outside of the jaw here, so this would be a much smoother transition from the upper jaw to the mandible here. No, we're both gay actually, Hey man, love the videos.
Oh, it didn't show
They're
up.
saying 5 feet apart because they're not. No, we both are. Not for each
Yeah.
other. In opposite directions, actually.
Oh, there's the...
That's a really long name. Acrocanthosaurus is a really long name, but it's not the longest name. The longest name of any dinosaur is Micropachycephalosaurus.
Do you know what the full binomial name is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Thank you.
Can you look up what the full binomial of
Sure.
Micropachycephalosaurus is?
This is like the least good of the shirts of these that I have.
Yeah, you have a dinosaur shirt.
I do have a dinosaur shirt. It's
That's
in the
my
laundry
favorite,
right now,
obviously.
which I need to go get in like 45 minutes.
Oh, there's some other interesting stuff that I wanted to talk about. There is... I've just been reading up in general on some phytosaur papers because I'm trying to get into phytosaurs as like a side thing, as a hobby. Because so many phytosaur pages on Wikipedia aren't illustrated, and I'm like, okay, I'll
Oh my
do that
god.
myself.
I know we've looked this up before because you know what the binomial name is?
What is it?
Micropachycephalosaurus hongtuyenensis.
Hongtuya.
It's Micropachycephalosaurus hongtuyenensis.
Oh my god.
I remember that now.
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I've been reading some phytosaur stuff. There's, a completely, I found one piece of paleoart that depicted it in any sort of capacity. There's, a well-described fragmentary phytosaur from, I believe, northern Canada. It's the farthest north phytosaur, and also one of the latest surviving phytosaurs of the Triassic. And it's called Jupijcum. Jupijcum something. It's a monospecific genus, so I don't have to remember the generic name, or the specific name. But I am going to try my hand at illustrating it. I've been doing some reconstructions. Here, I'll stand so they can see you. That's fine. But it's called Jupijcum, and it's a really interesting looking animal. As phytosaurs tend to be, it has a really long snout. It looks kind of similar to Spinosaurus, surprisingly, which I only really realized when I finished drawing my first attempted reconstruction of Jupijcum. Because it's not closely related to Spinosaurus at all. It's not even a dinosaur, for those of you familiar or unfamiliar with phytosaurs. They're much closer related to crocodiles than they are to dinosaurs. They're like basal, not more basal per se, but they're more early diverging archosaurs. And so Jupijcum surprisingly just has skull anatomy, and its relatives do. Most of this is extrapolated from its relatives because the skull isn't preserved past the eye sockets. Hello, lesbian dirt strider. Well, not the eye sockets per se. I believe it's the nasal opening and then the antorbital fenestra. The front half of those are preserved, and then this big fusion of the maxillary bone in Jupijcum does not extend back. Hi, Serena. I miss you too. You should come to my work. I know that person in real life. Yeah, so Jupijcum is really interesting to look at. It's a super bizarre animal. And I would like to do a proper scientific illustration of it because currently the only things that are available publicly on Wikipedia are drawings of the bones and photos of the bones. But this is a really interesting phytosaur. It has a very vertically compressed snout. And it also has a really long groove running between the tip of the snout and the nostril, or at least where we assume the nostril to be. That's another thing. It's very difficult to predict the location of nostrils in phytosaurs if you don't have the actual nares preserved. Even if you do have the nares preserved, it's difficult because phytosaurs just have really weird respiratory systems. They're kind of like crocodiles, but you can tell them apart with relative ease. Well, they're more like gharials than crocodiles, but you can tell them apart with relative ease because the nostrils of phytosaurs are right up above their eyes, whereas in crocodiles they're on the end of their snout. Oh, first of all, lesbian dirt strider, which monster do you think is the most interesting biology? The most interesting for me to study? You can go ahead.
No, you can say what you're gonna say.
That is a cute tank.
Thank you.
That's a good question. Anything that starts to really, really closely approach real animals in any way. So, the woodland Terex is probably my favorite Monster Hunter creature. But I do really like Great Jagras.
What are we going with in terms of interesting here?
I find it more interesting to research the monsters that are super, super close to something you could envision in real life.
Because I think Gormagala's got some pretty interesting stuff going on.
I think it's interesting, but I think it's so bizarre that there's very little room to work with. It's so out there.
That's fair.
Oh, the Exiled. I was saying, if you look right here, I keep forgetting the name of this new muscle.
Oh, the spatula doesn't show up.
But right under the process here in the I believe this is the jugal bone that forms this process, where I have it colored dark to indicate a separation of the jaw adductor muscle that sits inside the mandible. There's actually another jaw adductor muscle that runs outside of the jugal bone and attaches above this ridge. So there's two jaw adductor muscles, and if the jaw is here, the one that gets very commonly depicted is the one that runs inside. Azalea, can I have your hand?
Yeah.
So this is the lower jaw, and this is the upper jaw, and this is the outside of the skull, and this is where there is most often depicted a muscle, but there is also one that was recently discovered that runs outside here. So there's one on each side, and this acro only has the inside one illustrated.
Cool. So are they separate muscles or do they wrap around?
Hi. Do you want to come onto my live stream?
What?
I'm doing a live stream talking about dinosaurs while we cook.
Whoa, what's this?
This is my
TikTok.
live stream. Nergigante is cool.
Nergigante is pretty funky biology.
So did it have a stronger bite? It doesn't really. It doesn't.
Actually, right. Thank you.
It doesn't really affect Nergigante's, or not Nergigante's, Acrocanthosaurus having another muscle on the outside of their jaw doesn't really affect bite force calculation that much.
Yeah.
Because in the extant animals that we would compare it to, the biomechanics aren't super, super different. The muscle mass is probably quite similar, it's just distributed differently. And because it's true across basically all dinosaurs, it's really affecting distribution of the muscle. What's your favorite bird? I like shrikes and ospreys. My favorite bird is obviously the bearded vulture, because that's the best bird. And then you have to pick your favorite bird under the bearded vulture, which for me right now is the horned screamer. Do a video on White Fatalis. I will maybe do that eventually. I hate to say it, I think White Fatalis might be my least favorite Monster Hunter monster.
I think Crimson Fatalis might be worse.
No, it's not.
No?
It's not, because it's not morphologically distinct from Fatalis, like White Fatalis is.
Wait, I thought White Fatalis was just old Fatalis.
Yeah, but it's old Fatalis that grows hair.
Yeah, that's true.
I love the hat. I love the hot.
This broccoli is approaching done.
Sure, okay.
What? We can leave it in for it.
No, it's fine.
Hi, yeah. What's up, nerd?
Hello.
Hi.
We are streaming on TikTok, by the way. If you don't want to
No,
be
you're
on
chill.
that. You can be in it if you want. It's just
We're getting
Just
loads of
if you don't want to
cameos
be.
today while we cook
Yeah.
dinner.
Alright.
Is that boba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. What flavor?
Mango.
Honey
Ooh.
oolong. Honey oolong. That's my vote.
Alright, see ya.
see it.
Bye. Do you like the Jurassic Park movies? I'd be Jurassic Antilles Parks. Yeah, I do love the Jurassic Park movies. I think they're generally quite good, even if they're not particularly scientifically accurate.
Last year, we watched through the original Jurassic Park and discussed while we were watching it all the stuff that was accurate or inaccurate with it. I think you should just pick up the pen. There, I can scrape it out for you. And so I think that might be a fun thing
Watch
to
me
do.
burn my hand on this.
Okay, yeah. If you want me to hold it
Nope.
instead,
No, it's
okay.
fine. I'm just trying to
Anyway,
get a good
I think
grip.
that might be a fun thing to do, like a video of at some point.
I'm gonna do that with a Primitive War trailer at some point.
Nice.
It's more manageable. This is awful. This is like the opposite of ASMR. Have you seen the Zoshia armor sets? Yeah, I have.
I have not.
They're peak. I love them.
They're Jindahad. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're Monster Hunter Wilds.
Whoa. Oh yeah, I was talking to someone in one of my game design classes earlier today, who was just getting into playing Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter Wilds as their first game.
We got avocado oil. This is my cooking oil of
They
choice.
cannot see it.
This is
There
my
it is.
cooking oil of choice. What's your favorite dinosaur game?
I don't think there's any really truly good dinosaur games out there, to be completely honest. And that's my initial hot take. I do love a lot of them, but I think they're all deeply flawed, and I think we need a good dinosaur game for the people and for the culture and such. I really like Primal Carnage. I like The Isle.
Primal Carnage is a lot of fun.
Primal Carnage is great.
Not a lot of people play it, but it is very fun. I got a group of friends to play it for like a day, and they all got mad at me because I was killing them too much.
Yeah. Oh, I have played Horizon Zero Dawn. I love it. Do we have any evidence to suggest any birds being more related to any specific prehistoric dinosaurs? No, because every bird is equally related to every non-bird dinosaur. Because if we're measuring, we measure evolutionary relatedness by looking at the most recent common ancestor. And if you take any non-bird dinosaur and draw a line between that non-bird dinosaur and every single bird, then the line will will bend up, right? So if you have two species where this V is, that's where the most recent common ancestor is. That's when these populations diverge. Every non-bird dinosaur shares the exact same most recent common ancestor with every bird. And it's different from non-bird dinosaur to non-bird dinosaur, but if you're picking the same non-bird dinosaur and drawing that line to every bird, it's gonna V at the same point. They're gonna share the most recent common ancestor.
The birds are closest related to like the theropod dinosaurs.
They are theropod dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, they're closest related to the non-bird theropod dinosaurs. But like, other than that, I mean, it's basically just how closely related are they to that group.
What do you mean awesome sauce? This is from Trader Joe's. This is frankly very middling sauce, if we're being honest.
It is sauce. Don't put that in the pan.
I'm not gonna.
Okay, it looked like you were about to open it.
I'm not gonna open it.
Okay.
I was just observing.
How would we feel if Zinogre came back to Wilds? It's been in 3 games in a row. It's the most popular monster in Monster Hunter. It will come back.
Yeah,
They're gonna add it again.
I don't know about the. They didn't put Rathalos in Wilds.
Well, they didn't put Nergigante in Wilds, actually.
Nergigante is like.
But Nergigante is a character, so.
Is Nergigante the third most popular monster?
Second.
Second.
Like Geocris is third. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it's fun. I like the Zinogre fight in World. I think it'll be interesting. Actually, it's going to be pretty different in Wilds because they're going to make it have a lot of giant lightning explosions. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, it already had those, but they're going to be larger and more ridiculous.
It's very speculative of you.
I'm just going based off of what they did with some of the other monsters in the game. I have
Potential.
Oh, I'm gone.
You are gone. You tend to phase in and out as things occur. I saw some cool birds today. I saw a bunch of cuckoos, which are nice and interesting and lovely birds. Which dinosaur do you think is the most underrated? I think Psittacosaurus is the most underrated in terms of its perception by the general public. But I think basically every dinosaur is underrated compared to T-Rex.
Except for T-Rex. Although I would say there are some that are generally more popular than most that aren't quite as big as T-Rex, but that are still more well-known.
Within the paleo community, I think basically every herbivore dinosaur is underrated. Even paleo people just tend to focus on the charismatic big theropods more than anything else, which is...
I like the small theropods.
I know you do.
I think small... Why do people not like them as much?
Because they just don't have as broad of appeal.
They're like the best ones.
I think basically every person who studies dinosaurs can acknowledge like the objective appeal of big megatheropod carnivores.
They're cool.
Whereas everything else is a little bit more subjective. That's just the way that it is. I mean, it's a very real and documented fact that more charismatic looking animals get more research attention. That's why we have so many studies on stuff like lion and wolf and,
yeah,
I don't know, mandrill behavior.
That's why it's taken us so long to name all these wasps.
Birds are really cool. I do love birds. Yeah, I mean, like parasitic wasps. And also, more charismatic animals also tend to be less, like, diverse because they're more unique.
Yep.
Like, if there were 40 species of lions, the interest in lions would be split across all 40 of those species.
That's true.
There's only one... Well, there is 2 species of Tyrannosaurus, and one of them has 1 paper associated with it, so...
But, that's pretty recent.
Have you seen the new Primitive War teaser trailer? And if so, what do you think of it? I have seen it, and I enjoyed it. I think the designs are a little bit less interesting than I looked at when I saw the comics and stuff. I like it. I think it looks exciting and cool. I can't tell. I know in the books, the thing that attacks them in the water is a Caprasuchus, but in the movie it looks a lot like some kind of Spinosaurine, and I couldn't find anything about a Spinosaur being in the books. In general, I'm a big fan of more dinosaur horror, and I trust Primitive War to be a lot better than, 65, because those things actually look like dinosaurs, and they seem to be made by people who like dinosaurs to some degree.
Oh, I was about to say, what's 65? It's called 65, because...
The asteroid hit
Yeah.
66 million years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, not 65.
But 65 is, the common...
Yeah. I don't know why.
Probably because it's a nice round divisible by 5.
Because people say approximately 65. It's like 66 million something. Some
Yeah.
thousands of years.
I usually go for 67, 70.
Well, that's like end Cretaceous.
Yeah. When I'm talking about dinosaurs, when dinosaurs were around.
That's
I
fair.
go for a higher estimate.
Well, I just say 252 million years ago to the present, which is a little bit overestimated. This person says, I made hammer and dual blades.
Nice.
She means hammer.
Hammer,
I mean,
hammer is very good.
we both play greatsword.
Also, they're buffing the way I play hammer in the next update.
That's
Because they're making Hammer's moveset more well-rounded again, and I am so excited.
I hope they buff greatsword.
What?
I hope they buff greatsword. You got a hair in our pan, by the way.
No. Where?
To the right. 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 To the right.
Oh, my hairs are too light, I can't see them.
I think you can't see them because you're colorblind.
That doesn't work with that. Yeah, they main greatsword. I main hammer. I also play a decent amount of greatsword.
Yeah, I also play a lot of Gunlance, a lot of Charge Blade.
That's true, you do play that.
Shit. Put that back in there. No one escapes the pan. I play a lot of Gunlance, Charge Blade, Sword and Shield, a little bit of Swax. I played a lot of Swax when Wilds first came out, but Charge Blade is my preferred gauge-based class.
I don't like gauges.
That's why you play Hammer.
That's why I play hammer. And also greatsword.
But you play Frostcraft, like always.
Yeah, but that's just because it works with the way I play hammer, which is Dark Souls.
Yeah, but that's a gauge. Some of my
Yeah.
friends said they might have replaced the Capras with a Spino for more appeal. I definitely don't doubt that. Not many people know about Caprasuchus. And even less people know that Caprasuchus having those long galloping legs is actually entirely speculative. It's actually a Mahajangasuchus, so it's more reasonable for it to have a body more typical of traditional crocodiles. With a little bit longer legs, but more so what you'd see in a Cuban crocodile compared to those big tree climbing crocodiles from the end Cenozoic and such. Caprasuchus is maybe the most mischaracterized prehistoric animal out there. I don't know if that's true.
I really like offsets. I like greatsword's offset a lot.
I wonder what people... Yeah, because even with velociraptors, it's when people think of a velociraptor, they imagine it being the wrong size, the wrong integument, and
They imagine it being scaly. And
that's what I mean by integument.
Oh, yeah.
They think it's too big. They think it has scales, and but the body proportions are pretty generally similar. When people imagine Caprasuchus,
I just imagine, an American alligator, but, really big.
that's because you were introduced to the concept of Caprasuchus after
Nope. Or after what?
after the after the paper about it not galloping came out,
When was that?
2016.
I was introduced to it, not Caprasuchus specifically, but whatever similar thing.
Mahajangasuchus?
No.
Dinosuchus?
Probably, it was probably that.
Caprasuchus does
When
not
I
look
think
like...
of
Caprasuchus
yeah,
is not
when I
Dinosuchus
think
at all.
of big kind of things in that area, that is the first thing that comes to my mind. Is
Well-
basically just a big American
Well,
alligator.
but Caprasuchus has a reputation built around being the galloping crocodile, despite the fact that it doesn't gallop.
See, I just never heard of that.
Okay, so... I mean, Caprasuchus is an arc, and in arc it gallops, which is where I think a lot of that comes from.
That's very speculative and entirely unlikely. Likely impossible, given that it's a Mahajongasuke, like I
Right.
said. Did you know that crocodiles are actually secondarily sprawling? Most of their ancestors had pillar erect legs.
Hi, Ivy. Hello. We're cooking a beef and broccoli right now. Right now, it's just beef.
Just beef in the pan. Broccoli is over there.
I think we're ready for the more broccoli. Does that look good to you?
Yeah.
You want to do the sauce pork?
Sure. I can do that.
I get the sauce in there.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing that in the pan.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I usually do it on the afterwards.
All right.
Have you ever played Monster Hunter?
Wow. Surely you should watch my videos. Actually.
Yeah.
I just put in a 2-hour-long lecture. Well, Azalea.
Yeah,
just
there's
put a
an
2-hour-long lecture
hour and 45-minute long lecture on the ecology of Monster Hunter that just went up on the
on my YouTube.
on the YouTube channel that Kai did like a couple days ago.
On Sunday.
On here. And then they've got a bunch of videos on the TikTok and also on Monster Hunter, and also on the YouTube that are about Monster Hunter.
No, I love Monster
We both
Hunter.
play tons of Monster Hunter. I spent like half an hour today talking to someone about Monster Hunter in a game design class.
There we go.
Yes, yes. Stir my pot. Stir my pot. Pot stirrer. Wait, are you the one with the cool notebook?
Yep. It's happened twice now.
That's me.
That's two.
I'm really surprised that my Alright, bye, gotta go. Bye. Good night, pink consumer. No, it's crazy. My paleo audience and my Monster Hunter audience don't intersect at all.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Also an avid hunter. I would love to hunt with y'all. If you do want to hunt with us, we're going to be doing a Play with Subscribers stream. You can subscribe on TikTok and hop on the sub Discord, and I'll be playing with everybody for title update.
When are we doing it?
Probably midday.
Is that Saturday?
Saturday, yeah,
Cool.
Saturday and Sunday.
Alright,
most
cool,
likely it'll
yeah.
be. I mean, it'll probably just be like Saturday evening, and then it'll probably be Saturday evening because I have to do a talk on Saturday.
But yeah, there's a subscriber Discord. If you subscribe on TikTok, then you'll get access to that.
Do you like Quetzalcoatlus?
Yes.
Quetzalcoatlus.
Yes.
I'm a
It's
stickler
very
for
cool.
correct Nahuatl.
Pronunciation. That's totally fine. Good luck walking your runway. I will probably also do a Play with Sub stream on Sunday.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Additionally, I will be doing another Monster Hunter Ecology lecture Sunday evening. So tune in if you want to hear about the northwestern dunes of the Windward Plains. I thought they were southeastern, but it turns out my map was just upside down.
Oh, did you have the map rotation
Yeah.
on? Yeah.
Quetzalcoatlus is a very, very cool animal. It's what's called an Ashtarkid pterosaur. And it is one of our most well-studied examples of the large Ashtarkids. They're actually not so well preserved outside of Quetzalcoatlus. So a lot of our information about their general morphology is very is like due to Quetzalcoatlus being like so well studied. There are two species of Quetzalcoatlus. There's Quetzalcoatlus northropi, which is named after Northrop Grumman, the aircraft manufacturer that made the B-52 and all those stealth planes. And then there's Quetzalcoatlus lawsoni, which is named after I don't know. I think it's named after just the people who discovered it.
They should, if they discover another species, they should name it after Betelgeuse.
Maybe. That is very true, Action YNG. I definitely that is my favorite feeling. But yeah, Quetzalcoatlus northropi and lawsoni are our two main species. Lawsoni is the smaller of the two, whereas northropi is larger, but I think less complete. They're both from the Americas, and they tend to travel north and south. So they have a pretty solid vertical range. But there is also some vertical separation between the Ashtarkid populations. because there are distinct populations of certain Ishtarkids to the north and south. Therizinosaurs are very cool. I do love Therizinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are neat.
So, for example, yeah, that makes sense. That Northrop Grumman is crazy.
Oh my god.
Was Quetzalcoatlus found in what's now Texas? Where's the other commonly found? I don't actually know specifically where they're from. I know there is some Quetzalcoatlus material from South America, I believe, but I think there is some from the Elk Creek Formation as well. I don't know if they would be in Texas because during the end Cretaceous, that would have been probably part of the Western Interior Seaway. And Quetzalcoatlus are generally, like all Ishtarkids, they're more terrestrial in terms of their hunting ground. And we know this. We have a lot of European Ishtarkid footprints that tell us about their locomotion and their movement and their flight, because we have takeoff sites that show them transitioning from a typical running or walking gait to a like pre-flight hop. Yeah, that's real. No, I was tweaking out when I killed Fatalis too.
See, I almost soloed it. I got all the way to like the very end of the fight and then immediately died.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. Yeah, Quetzalcoatlus is really cool. And there are some other Ishtarkid populations throughout the US and Canada. There's Cryodraken boreas to the north. In like the southwest, there's Navajo-Dactylus, which is not super well preserved. But there's loads of different kinds of Ishtarkids everywhere. A lot of people are under the assumption that Hatzegopteryx, because it's so often depicted with a different shaped skull from Quetzalcoatlus, has a well-preserved skull. But it really doesn't. There's no...
Can I get this on the plate?
Yeah, there's almost no skull material.
I think it's just a post-orbital bone from Hatzegopteryx. You can scoop it if you want.
Right. I'm good at scraping it out.
Yeah, but then you get all the oil in there. Yeah, so Hatzegopteryx's skull reconstructions look so different from Quetzalcoatlus, primarily because they're just based on a different pterosaur. Quetzalcoatlus and Hatzegopteryx aren't absurdly closely related. They're not sister taxa. Hatzegopteryx is, I believe, more closely related to Aramborgiana, which is another species of Ishtarkid pterosaur that's
What's
much
that one
smaller.
named after?
I don't know.
That definitely sounds like something that was named after someone or something.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Hatzegopteryx reconstructions you see are basically all just the skull of Aramborgiana scaled up, which is especially where that chin comes from. People are like, oh, Hatzegopteryx is so cool with his iconic beak chin. It doesn't have one. Yeah. The beak chin is just based on its closest relatives having a beak chin. So that is the case with a lot of the largest members of like groups and families and such, is that they frequently are associated with iconic features of the group, and those features are assumed to belong to that individual itself, but oftentimes we have little to no confirmation of those features belonging to those genera or species.
Ivy, that is, it's a Borealopelta, not an Ankylosaurus.
Yeah, it is an Ankylosaurid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
We do have many other fossils with
there's,
skin. I was at a dig site where we found fossilized skin once. It was of a Diplodocus. I believe it was Diplodocus longus, but I'm not sure if we had a species for it at the time.
There's a hadrosaur that's like a similarly preserved one to the...
I don't know if I would call it similarly well preserved. It is another bloat and float corpse from Canada. So it does have similar style of preservation. Much more of the body is missing in that hadrosaur. But it is quite well preserved. Then we have loads of stuff from China, but that's mostly theropods, and they're preserving feathers rather than scaly skin. So wait, that one super preserved fossil is an Ankylosaurus? No. It's an Ankylosaur. It's an Ankylosaurid. So the beak chin is a guess, kind of. Well, it's not a guess. It's based on phylogenetic bracketing, just like the way that we assume. I mean, it's not as confident, but just like the way we assume that a theropod without preserved legs and arms would be bipedal rather than quadrupedal, because all the theropods we know about are bipedal. It's a solid guess that Hatzegopteryx probably had a beak structure that was similar to Aramborgiana, because there's not anything about its anatomy that would suggest something drastically different from what we know of. But having slightly different beak proportions is definitely not out of the question. Yeah.
All right. Should we go eat?
Yeah, I'm gonna pause the stream just for a couple minutes. Or maybe I'll end it and then restart it.
Yeah, I think we should just end it and then restart it later. I've got to go get my laundry and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for the quick stream, y'all. And I will probably go live again later tonight whilst I work on some paleo art or something. I will be back. Bye-bye.